everyone, today we're diving into the world of sourdough bread. I want to begin by showing you my starter, which peaked beautifully last night and looked like this around 3 a.m. Now, here's how my starter appeared when I began baking at around 10 a.m. I wanted to share this with you because I have seen many people in various Facebook groups worrying when their starter falls. They often feel that they can't bake anymore and have to start the feeding process all over again. That's simply not the case, and this video will demonstrate that for you. I began by combining 200 grams of starter with 600 grams of water and gave it a good mix. Next, I incorporated 900 grams of bread flour and 20 grams of salt. It's important to mix the salt and flour together first before adding the remaining ingredients. For this video, I'll be preparing a double recipe, which means I'll be baking 2 loaves. I plan to attempt a pumpkin-shaped loaf, and if it turns out well, I will likely make it more frequently, especially for Thanksgiving. At this stage, I am using my clean hands to mix everything together since I want to feel for any large lumps of flour. I am not attempting to knead it or anything along those lines. Cover it with a damp towel to retain moisture and allow it to rest for 30 minutes. This process is known as hydrating the flour. Now it's time for the first stretch and fold, which will begin to strengthen the dough. Just look at this magic. The dough comes together so beautifully. I will repeat this process 4 times and allowing the dough to rest for 30 minutes each time. The dough appeared to be in great shape, so after my initial 2 stretch and folds, I prefer to flip the dough over and perform a coil fold. However, feel free to continue with the stretch and fold method if that's what you enjoy. I simply prefer this technique. At this stage, I coil and fold the dough for a few times until it reaches its limit. This process strengthens the dough, ensuring that once it goes into the oven, it bakes to perfection. After completing your 4th fold, it's time to let the dough rest for bulk fermentation. The duration of this step will vary based on the weather and temperature, and for instance, during the last hurricane watch, when temperatures soared, my dough fermented in under 2 hours, something I have never experienced before. To check if the dough is ready, wet your hands and gently poke it with your fingertip. If the dough bounces back quickly, it needs more time. Alternatively, you can use a thermometer. The internal temperature should reach 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius. I am preparing 2 loaves of bread, with one being smaller than the other. The smaller one will be my pumpkin-shaped bread, which I'm trying for the first time. I am quite curious about the pumpkin shape because it doesn't involve scoring, a technique that allows sourdough bread to expand and achieve its full potential. To play it safe, I decided on a smaller size in case it doesn't turn out well. At this stage, it's time to shape and bench rest the dough, which involves 2 steps. First, shape the dough and allow it to rest for 30 minutes, then reshape it one more to enhance its strength before placing it in the banneton. I have sprinkled flour on my banneton, but if you don't have one, a basket or a bowl lined with a towel will work just as well. I think sourdough is very forgiving. It will always come together nicely. And if you over ferment your dough, you can easily turn it into a pizza dough or a focaccia. So please never throw away your dough. You can always fix it. What I'm going to do is just leave it to rest a little bit around 30 minutes before I put it in the fridge. It's an option, but this works perfect for me. Is just a way to give it an extra push before I put it in the fridge, since putting it in the fridge slow down the proofing process. It was 5:30 p.m. when I put them in the fridge and baked the first loaf the next day at around 7:50 a.m. I want to show you my French oven. This was not expensive at all. I bought it from Aldi a couple years ago and I believe it was around $20. It works perfectly for me since a couple years, and what I do also, I reuse my parchment paper. I don't know if you can do this with all kind of parchment paper, but I will link mine in the description. Put the dish in the oven and then preheat it to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. This will ensure that the French oven warm up before you add the bread. I always place a baking sheet on the shelf beneath it to prevent the bottom of the bread from burning. We are about to create our pumpkin-shaped bread, and I've cut strings to the same length, ensuring they're long enough to wrap around the loaf perfectly. I coated each one with some olive oil. Be sure to tie all the strings securely together, as they may become stuck inside the bread once it's baked, which you want to avoid. Trim away any excess strings. I dust the surface with flour before scoring the design I prefer. And by the way, I don't have rice flour and I have never used it, but feel free to use it if you would like. Just so you know, rice flour is simply rice that has been blended. So if you find it too pricey to buy, you can easily make your own by blending some of your white rice in the food processor. This will go into the preheated oven for 15 minutes with the lid on as it's small loaf. After that, I will lower the temperature to 450 degrees Fahrenheit and bake it for an additional 15 minutes without the lid. If you've made it so far, I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like button. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and sharing your thoughts in the comment. And I additionally want to express my gratitude for over 600,000 views on my video about freezing potatoes. Now I am going to bake the second loaf, which is the big one, and the only difference between this one and the other one is that I will be baking it for 20 minutes with lid on at 475 degrees Fahrenheit, then 15 minutes with lid off at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. The dark brown edge of the parchment paper can easily crumble, so please handle it with care if you plan to reuse it. There is a risk of dropping your bread, so stay cautious. I wanted to highlight how it broke in this video. And for reference, this was the 4th time I use it, and it will be discarded afterward. Now it's time to slice it open and take a look inside. I was quite concerned about the pumpkin shape one since we didn't make a deep score like the one visible in the other loaf. So let's find out how it turns out.
It looks yummy, guys.
Yeah, it looks good.
My mouth is already drooling.
Let's see what's inside. Now we're gonna see how is the pumpkin shape one from the inside.
Ooh.
You think it's gonna be good?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna take this here.
The fall vibes.
Okay, it looks good. I don't know. Let's see.
That's probably going to be my favorite.
Is it?
Oh, whoa.
I think it's good. Look.
That's going to be my favorite sourdough
It's
bread
soft.
now. That's going to be my favorite now, I think.
You want a mommy do pumpkin shape all the time?
Yes.
Come here then.
Eat it.
Look. You like it? So which one do you prefer, that one or this one?
The pumpkin one, but bigger.
Pumpkin one,
Okay.
a bigger size.
Then I need to buy a big cast iron, a round one for this. Okay. Let's enjoy.
Thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next video.